I noticed going into about high school age, that I was kind of just a fidgety sort of kid in general. I was constantly active and what have you. Um, so, the only option for me where I was living at the time, I was living up in a small town in Northern California. It's kind of expected, that you join a sports team. You join the football team, basketball team, whatever. Pretty small school, so if you were an able-bodied male and you didn't join the football team, it was kind of like, why not? So I did that, and I did it for a year, and it just, I don't know, the culture of the team, the culture of sports in general, just didn't quite fit with me. It didn't quite resonate. I kind of quit that, but I still wanted to be active somehow. And martial arts, kung fu, Jackie Chan movies, all of that stuff, Asian culture kind of always interested me. So I took an interest in karate and gymnastics. So I wanted to be like a kung fu ninja warrior, basically. Yeah, and do flips and all of that. So I did that for a couple of years, got my black belt after 3 years. And
What
got
style?
in karate. Yep.
In tempo karate?
It was Shorin-ryu, is the Okinawan stuff. So I did that for a couple years, and then at the gymnastics studio that I was at, it was frequented quite often by breakdancers, that would use the space with us, and the karate, the gymnastics team was affiliated with this other group called SPACE, which just stood for the School of Performing Arts and Cultural Education in our small town. And what Space would do is they would take different teams, dance team, the break dance crew, and then the gymnastics team, go around to different schools and everything and do like anti-drug assemblies, anti-bullying assemblies, stuff like that. And we'd perform. So we'd get a chance to, leave school for a little while to go be performers at another school, which was just about the freaking coolest thing ever. That's kind of what, it kind of got me started in performing arts in general. This performing arts school called Space. Kind of got into breakdancing through that. That was kind of my segue into the dance world. And then in college, I joined a world dance troupe that did all kinds of things. So they did, the first next style that I was exposed to was Jamaican dancehall, because there was a big contingent of Jamaican kids, families lived in New York and everything, but families were from the Caribbean, and this was kind of a part of their culture and everything. So every year, big contingent from New York would come up there, and they would share that with the rest of the community, with this dance troupe. So I was a strongly influenced by that right away. Then hip hop started being a part of that too, and then the whole jazz funk, contemporary thing. So I got more influences in college. And then after college, I moved down here to Los Angeles because by then the dance craze, the kind of dance passion had taken over, even though I'd gotten degrees in stuff that was totally unrelated, psychology and Chinese, which were other passions, other interests. But the dance thing definitely stuck. It stuck all through college, and kind of, I figured while I still had the facility to do it, I wanted to pursue that as a career, and then pick up, where I left off education-wise later on, because I'm still very much into that as well. But I moved down here, and I realized, wow, to be a professional dancer in Los Angeles, even if you're a hip-hop dancer or a crumper or a whacker or, street dancer or any number of things, break dancer, it's still beneficial. A lot of times it's necessary to be versed in all kinds of things. So it's kind of like a rapper or an R&B singer. Eventually, if they want to get big and get known and get good and get famous, they eventually have to learn how to read music. They eventually have to learn the technique of their art form and everything that came before. So same thing for dance also. I had to learn classical. I had to learn ballet, learn jazz, everything, because in order to get the jobs, I was at these auditions, I was at the mercy of a choreographer who liked my cool tricks and everything, but at the same time, in order to get the job, I had to be able to do what they wanted me to do. So that required training. So that kind of blew open the door for everything else. And that's kind of where I'm at today. Kind of jack of all trades, but master of none of them, really, you know. In Los Angeles, there are a lot of people who specialize in things. You know, there are people who are just jazz dancers and that's it, you know, to the exclusion of all else. Break dancers who can't do a lick of ballet at all. You know, and that's kind of a harder way to go because it is very competitive and it is very limiting. For me personally, I fell in love with all styles of dance. So in terms of what jobs I'm willing to take, I'm really open to all kinds of things. I love all cultures. I love all kinds of music. So that's another route you can take. And not only that, but there's a whole lot of choreographers nowadays who are doing fusion of different styles of movement, because there are a lot of musicians who are doing a lot of different fusions of styles of music. So that demands training and a background of stuff, in addition to all the cool things that you can do specialty-wise. So for me, even though I started with martial arts, gymnastics, breaking, those tricks from 15 years ago, you know, they still come into play. But now I'm able to do the choreography and the trained stuff also. And a lot of jobs look for that. They require that, because rather than pay two people, somebody to do all the flips and somebody else to do all the choreography, if they can get their hands on somebody who can do both, then they don't have to pay two people. So it's advantageous to be able to do both things like that.